Hi, this is Dr. Pechenik, and today I want to do a contrast between what I call the fake revolution or the so-called impeachment, which I compare to a Gilbert and Sullivan comic relief opera called The Mikado, where the British were mocking their own government using Japanese kabuki. In contrast, there's a real revolution going on in Lebanon. I've talked about it about 6 months ago, but it's been going on for quite a long time now. That revolution has to do with wages, jobs, sanitation, water, and power. When we're talking about a real revolution, I don't need 6 and 7-year-old young girls saying profanity or talking about this about Trump or that about Trump. When I talk about a real revolution and what's going on around the world, in Lebanon, which was a coalition government after we had a civil war 30, 40 years ago, and I was involved in that civil war, we thought we had created a stable government. Well, we didn't. What was once considered the Switzerland of the Middle East, Lebanon, is now in the midst of total destruction. Shiite, Sunni, Hezbollah, and phalangists who are Christians are all fighting against the government now. It's a question of about jobs. There are no jobs. There's no sanitation. Garbage is piling up on the beaches of Lebanon that used to be beautiful. The Mediterranean is now polluted. There's no more food. There are no more jobs. And the banks have been closed so that the people cannot take out their money. That's a real revolution. In that sense, we, the United States, have to help them out because their economy is falling apart. If the Democrats think that they're changing a government in this process of impeachment, they're highly mistaken. What it is nothing more than demonstrating how ineffectual, how pathetic the Democrats and the entire political system is. It's like a kabuki, or as what I called it, the pinafore. It has no real substance in all process. But again, when we contrast it to the other parts of the world, particularly Lebanon and other areas of the world where the Democrats created conflict, like in Yemen, where thousands of kids are dying every day thanks to Schiff, thanks to Schumer, who funded a huge amount of money to go into this conflict between the Sunnis and the Shiites in which we had no interest whatsoever. And Trump was interested in our leaving the Middle East. And what is happening now? A man who took us out of the Middle East, a man who took us out of Afghanistan, a man who took us out of Iraq, a man who doesn't want to be in Yemen, a man who's improved our economy, made sure we had the lowest unemployment. He's being impeached. The absurdity of this is beyond anything one can imagine. Then contrast that with what you will see in the videos and the movies about what's happening in Lebanon and how people are being arrested, people are dying, and people are threatening the government and bringing it down because it literally is not functional. This is kind of an indirect warning to those on the Democratic side, particularly Governor of Virginia, who feels that he has to rescind the Second Amendment, change the laws in order of rescinding the Second Amendment, and make sure that guns are no longer available, despite the fact that he's a physician and he's been in combat several times. Those kinds of actions will result in very dangerous outcomes because none of the Democrats are really thinking about the strategic outcome of what they're doing. I, in turn, have given them fair warning to say, this is not a game. This is not some kind of farce that you're going to put on. This is a real waste of money, time, and trouble. On behalf of the American people, I want to say the following. Remember what you do today because tomorrow it will come back to bite you. Nancy Pelosi, Schumer, and Schiff. Good luck and good night.